100 episode live stream Saturday, May 24th. 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. for me because I'm in Denver.
Hell yes, Denver, with your legal weed.
What is it MST? Is CST, EST? Is Mountain Time MST? That doesn't seem right. Mountain Time. I'm going to write it out.
I'm going to say this is not one of my special interests, Joel. I'm not 100% keyed into time zones.
Time zone names don't matter to me.
But if you want to talk about serial killers or 9/11, I have got you covered.
The Articulate Coven is the original, unofficial fan podcast and community for Anne Rice's Interview with the Vampire, The Vampire Chronicles, The Lives of the Mayfair Witches, and the Immortal Universe from AMC and AMC+.
All right. Welcome to the Articulate Coven. We are your hosts. I'm Joel.
I'm Ashley.
And we are the Articulate Coven. Huzzah and hello, everybody. Long week. Long time since we talked to each other. You and I recorded two the same weekend, and that was a forever ago, it feels like.
It feels like a month and a half has passed.
I've been so many places since then.
I've
been so many places in my life and time.
I've been nowhere but here. But that's been trying in its own way.
Ashley, I tell you where we've been. In our mind, we're not going to Carolina. We're going to New Orleans.
We are. And then we're really going in October, so.
We're going in October, everybody. Anne Rice's Celebration of Life is finally happening November 1st in New Orleans. Christopher Rice still has not released, as of this recording, the timing or the tickets or the location even.
Like, we don't have a whole ass weekend to plan, Christopher. Come on.
Do wonder if, like, here's what I'm hoping. One of the reasons why it hasn't actually been locked in yet is because the newsletter keeps getting more and more traction, and he keeps having to escalate the size of the venue to keep the ticket price reasonable. That's what I'm hoping. That could
make sense.
Fingers crossed. Or well, no, I don't. I mean, maybe he's holding out for the Sanger and he's got to fight Taylor Swift for it. I don't know.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. Maybe they're coordinating with the fan club, and they haven't announced the Vampire Ball stuff yet.
That's a very good point. That's a very good point. I had not considered that. All right, let's say what we're doing. So first of all,
what are we doing? What are we here?
We're going to New Orleans. Ashley and I are going. Our spouses are coming with us. We're going to have real good time. Mm-hmm. Great fun in New Orleans for the weekend of Halloween.
So excited.
We'd love for you to come with us. There is a link in the show notes. If you have not already responded to our poll on our Patreon, you don't have to be a member of the Patreon, although you can join for free, and that will help us give you messages like this. But even if you're not a member, you can respond to this poll. Yes or no, are you planning on going to New Orleans for Anne Rice's Celebration of Life? Here's what we're wondering. We're wondering how big a group would be coming along with us, and then that would give us some idea of, can we find a venue where we could all get together and do a live recording in person? Or could we maybe coordinate a tour or two? Could we have a time where we all go to... There's this really cool thing in downtown New Orleans, in a building I used to work in, actually, in the top of the World Trade Center. What was the World Trade Center? I don't know what they call the building now, honestly. It's the Four Seasons, I guess. But in the top of it, there's a place called View New Orleans, VUE New Orleans. And it's like a 360 top of this gigantic building view of the city. But they also have some cool, displays about the city and the history of the city. It's not a super cheap ticket, but the podcast I edit, Beyond Bourbon Street, did an episode about it, and Mark came away really impressed. And Mark, as a lifelong New Orleanian, is not easily impressed. So, anyway, I thought that might be cool. So anyway, I would like to see if I can arrange a few things like that. I need to know how many of you are coming. Currently, I think there are like 21 people
Which
that
is
have
awesome.
confirmed on there. Yeah, that's amazing. But then also like I'm not in that list, and Kelly's not in that list, and Brett's not in that list, and Ashley's not in that list. So then we're at 25. But also you're bringing some people that I don't think are on that list.
No, I have like this is turning into a whole thing on my end of it.
I mean,
which
listen.
I love.
You don't have to tell anybody, hey, I'm going to spend a week in New Orleans. Would you like to come? And you don't have to give them much more information than that. Then they go, yeah, I would actually.
Yeah, we've been trying to coordinate like a trip for a while down there with friends, and people were banding about suggestions, and I was like, I will be going at this time. Anyone that would like to join, more than welcome. I have some work I'll be doing, but we'll be down there, and there's going to be plenty of days to do shenanigans.
So Ashley and I have been discussing the shenanigans and the accommodations, etc. the last couple of days. I want to say a big thank you to our Facebook member, Toby Krstevski. Toby's a patron, I'm pretty sure, as well.
Awesome.
Toby, though, said,
thank you for doing that.
Book your rooms for Anne Rice's celebration of life on our room block. Toby got us a room block at the Sheraton, New Orleans.
It's like so official, and we feel like a real group.
When you click the link, y'all, and the link is in the show notes, by the way, with the details here. But when you click the link, it literally says like, book your rooms for the Articulate Coven room block, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, Articulate Coven Podcast Room Block, October 29th through November 1st. But you have the ability to extend the pricing for 2 days before or 2 days after that.
Awesome.
Yeah, fantastic. So like you could literally easily make a week of this thing at this pricing, but you can get a standard king room at the Sheraton. This is on 500 Canal Street. So it's literally right there downtown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've stayed there before. I'm pretty sure.
I'm fairly certain I have too. And that's a Marriott Bonvoy hotel, by the way, if you're like a rewards person. Standard King's $179 plus the 16.75 tax and $3 city fee per room per night. And then you can get a standard 2 double bed. I hadn't really thought about this, Ashley, but people in the group were like, you could room with people if you know somebody well. Like, obviously, be careful and don't like shack up with strangers, y'all. But
I mean, what you do is your own business. But
yeah, that's true too. That's true
let's
too.
All be
I'm
safe.
just saying, let's be
not
safe.
Get murdered in New Orleans.
A standard 2 double bed is $189 plus the 16.75 tax and 3-day city fee per room per night. So again, very reasonable prices.
Yeah,
honestly,
especially during that weekend
for a holiday.
Yeah. Halloween's big in New Orleans, so there's going to be a lot going on in the city too. So there's going to be so much to do.
I'm super excited about this. I'm super excited about seeing a bunch of you in person. I'm very, very hopeful that we can lock down a reasonable situation where we can, like I said, do a tour or maybe do the view New Orleans together, or even just like, hey, let's all do cocktails in the lobby of the Sheraton at XYZ time, right? If a bunch of y'all are staying there. So there we go. Check out the links in the show notes. Thank you, Toby, for hooking us up with that.
Yeah,
Toby just suggested that. Honestly, I was like, I don't know how to do any of this. This is my first time arranging any sort of live event like this. So Toby suggested, can I get a room block? And I was like, fuck yes, you can. Please. Yes, please. And thank you.
And that's a great
very
spot
much,
too.
actually.
Like that's not a bad spot.
All right. One more thing. This a virtual you say to me, Joel, I can't travel to New Orleans. I live internationally, and I don't know if you know this, but your country has gone insane.
Crazy. I'm afraid if I go, I won't ever get to leave.
I won't. They'll literally throw me in a Venezuelan gulag. Y'all, okay, just quickly, because this is not going to be the political show. I swear to God it's not. But I do just want to say it out loud, because not enough people are saying it. Donald Trump put hundreds of Americans already into a gulag in fucking Venezuela and is giggling about it when they ask him about it on television. And I mean, like, we know one of them for a fact is innocent, and his governor and his senator, thank God, are fighting to bring him back. But most of them are innocent, and all of them deserved due process. Because due process, I shared this video in like my stories the other day. There's a great video of Scalia and Ruth Bader Ginsburg on some talk show. The two of them. This is literally opposite ends of the spectrum on the bench at the time. Did not agree with each other on any point. They both agree, though. The question is asked specifically, do illegal immigrants on American soil get due process? Do they deserve the rights that the Constitution provides? And Scalia says, yes, almost all of the rights given by the Constitution are granted to anyone on our soil, not just an American citizen. And then they ask Ginsburg, and she says, yes, absolutely. Most constitutions speak of citizens. Our Constitution uses the word person. Now, Scalia says Americans on foreign soil are also due all of those same rights. Foreigners on foreign soil are not due the rights given our Constitution. Okay, but my point is this, y'all.
Due process.
This is not like 30 minutes ago. This was not an idea that anybody in America that was normal disagreed with. And now suddenly the whole Republican establishment is like, due process only counts if no, fuck that.
That's not what it says. Your blessed document that you live, breathe, and die by does not say that.
If Kilmar doesn't have due process, then neither do Ashley and I. And the fact that we're pale doesn't matter. In the end, they will make anyone an enemy if they can just throw enemies out without due process. So there you go. Please and thank you. Talk to your representatives and senators if you're in America. Talk to your representatives and governmental authorities if you're international, and make sure that this same right-wing bullshit does not take any root where you live. Because y'all, they're coming for all of us. I'm telling you.
Crazy.
Woo!
It's been Lord.
So you say to yourself, Joel, all of the above. I'm not coming to New Orleans now
right.
or anytime in the future. Fair. So we've got to get together for you too. And we'll, by the way, if at all possible, we'll live stream our recording from New Orleans as well. So like, and not only that, we'll do a bunch of Instagram videos and we'll do a bunch of TikToks and whatever. So like, I mean,
we'll share the fun. We will share as much fun as we can.
We'll share as much of the fun as we can.
Because it's going to be fun. We're going to have a really good time.
I promised y'all bread and circuses. I don't know. Anyway, so
here we go. The bread itself is beignets.
Even if y'all, we're going to have beignets. That's another thing we're going to do. We're going to get together and have beignets one morning at Cafe Beignet. It is my favorite place. It's like not the one that all the tourists go to. Yes. Oh, ma'am. Okay. It's right beside a police station.
It is. You know, the funniest thing about that police station is, this is so stupid. We were down there like around New Year's one year. It was like in between Christmas and New Year's, I think. And we had been walking around, and that may have been, I don't think we were staying at the Motley on that time, but we were walking up and down Royal Street, and I just got really tickled. I was like, look at all these scooters. There's like a ton of police scooters parked like all together, and I was like, what the fuck are they doing? And they're like fucking hanging out and having beignets, like not realizing that it's a whole ass police station.
It's
right
an actual
next to
police. It doesn't look like a police station.
My parents laughed at me for fucking days about that. Like they took a picture of me standing next to all the fucking scooters with this look on my face like, stop. And I'm probably like 16, 17. I'm like, don't make fun of me.
We won't make fun of you, but one of the other reasons why I like Cafe Beignet better than Cafe Du Monde is because if you want, you can get a real breakfast there too. It's not just the beignets and coffee. They got all of the things, but their beignets are badass too. All right. Anyway, we're going to do a live stream though. We're going to do a live stream before that for our 100th episode. We are really close. It's coming up the last week in May. If you can't make the live stream, it'll release for patrons on May 25th. It'll release for everybody on May 26th. But we're going to be live Saturday night, May 24th, 8 p.m. Central Time. All of this information is in the show notes as well. 8 p.m. Central Time. That's 9 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. where I'm in Denver that night. So it'll be 7 p.m. for me there in the Mountain Time. I don't know. Anyway,
Eastern?
Wherever
I think
you
you're
are,
just in Eastern.
Figure it out.
An hour difference, right?
No, Denver is the other direction.
The other
Denver
way.
Goes, Denver goes to the Mountain Time Zone.
Again, not a special interest of mine time zones.
So it only matters to me, Ashley, because I regularly have to schedule appointments
Right.
with people all over the fucking world. So literally on my desktop, I have a widget, which is New Orleans, Oakland, New York, Amsterdam, Denver.
Well, you got to know what time it is at the mother house.
I do. The reason I have Amsterdam is because I used to have a client that lived in Amsterdam, and I would be like, when in the morning can I email him that
Can
it
it
will
not be
be a
insane?
reasonable nighttime time for him so that we can respond for a while.
Right.
Anyway, I don't work for him anymore, but Amsterdam is like Amsterdam gives me a basic idea of anywhere in Europe.
It's a good one.
That's why that's not why the Talamasca is there, but
Weirdly,
it's maybe a good reason
very
why they like
centrally
it.
located. Weirdly, I
Yeah.
do happen to know that France has the most time zones of any other country in the world.
Gaul is so damn big, y'all. You forget how big that fucking country is. It's huge.
Well, and they have all those like islands and things. So they have like
It's very spread out.
it's like they have like 13 time zones. And weirdly, I just said that's not a special interest. However, I do happen to know that.
I tell you what's a special interest for me, Ashley.
Vampires?
Miss Anne Rice and her various literary works and worlds. This is a show, by the way, where we talk about Anne Rice.
We do most of the time.
We talk about her books and her TV shows and her movies and all of the various adaptations. Right now, we're in the middle of a book club. We're talking about Merrick,
Yes,
which is sort of a sidequel, a crossover novel in some ways for the Mayfairs. Although I love that every time the name Mayfair is mentioned, they remind us not those white Mayfairs.
Not those Mayfairs. Not those Mayfairs. They messy. Those Mayfairs are messy.
So this is part 3. We're talking about chapter 13 through 19 right now. We've got one more section of this book to wrap up. We've also got a couple of movie nights ahead of us. We're going to be talking about Poor Things. We're going to be talking about Nosferatu, both the Murnau version from 22 and then the Eggers version from 2024. After that, Ashley, and we haven't talked about this yet, but my thought is we should go ahead and do the Feast for All Saints miniseries. A lot of people have asked us to talk about that anyway, but also I feel like it is very much tied in some ways to this Merrick novel. You know, we talked about in the last episode the concept of passing, which, by the way, we got a lot of good feedback on people. Some people were like, oh, I was so glad that you explained that, et cetera, et cetera. But one of the people, and I'm pulling up some of the comments here, somebody had mentioned specifically that Feast for All Saints very much is about that idea. And here we go. Patrick's 75 on YouTube said, in New Orleans specifically, there was the phenomenon called les gens de couleur libre, who were mixed race people of special status who lived outside of the normal confines of being black in the city during slavery. It was a unique community and a set of circumstances in America at the time. Also, it was the subject of Anne's second book, the historical novel, The Feast of All Saints, in which the concept of passing is a major factor. I believe it was adapted into a miniseries around the turn of the century, which makes it one of the... You're right. In the 1900s...
Jesus Christ.
I mean, he is right. I think it was right like around 2000, 2001, something. But that makes it one of the handful of her adaptations that are out there. I said, absolutely. We should have mentioned the Feast of All Saints specifically. I guess after this book club would be a good time to get to that miniseries. So, yeah, I do think that's what we're going to do, actually.
Good.
Man, okay. Nicole Radiant Baby commented on our discussion of The Witch, the movie from 2015 by Robert Eggers, and said, I'll have to try to rewatch this film and then listen sometime this week. I've never seen it. Is it really scary? And I thought that was such an interesting concept because you and I had very different versions, honestly, of whether this movie is scary. Yeah. And I said that. I said, I think it totally depends. Ashley didn't find it very scary at all, but I was shooketh my first watch for sure and put the movie off for a long time at all because it seems so scary. Genuinely, it's more of a sense of building dread than any actual terrifying moments. There are a few of those too, though, but Eggers is more thinky than bloody as a general rule. And Nicole says, interesting. I think I'll try to watch it anyway, maybe during the daytime or something. Lol. Anyway, there's one more that I wanted to get here too. Okay. Melissa Bouchard comments and says, I love your book club episodes. They're so fun and insightful. I could not find the time to comment on the first Merrick video because I was away on vacation in NOLA of all places.
Good for you.
So I'll just ramble for both videos here. I had not revisited Merrick since the first time I read it, probably right about the time it came out. See, us either. We read it then and we hadn't read it since. I'm really enjoying rereading it this time. Since I had not read the Mayfair Witch books before, I don't think I cared that much about Aaron, but this time around, after just finishing the Witches trilogy, God, it was just heartbreaking that David and Aaron didn't get to reconnect before Aaron's death. Aaron matters, exclamation point. Strongly agree. Like, this is one of the Talamasca can win me over if they just even hint in the first season that Aaron Leitner exists in this universe and we get him eventually. There is not enough Aaron and Cyprian for it to matter that we have both.
I agree. No, because there's very little.
I mean, there's very little Michael and Cyprian either, but there is at least the role that he plays in the universe with a power structure is there, you know?
Yeah.
I don't think we'll ever really get to Merrick, though, because I think the show already used the most important beat from the book, which is Louis' suicide attempt. Maybe they will revisit it and add to it, but I don't see him getting that low again in the future, since he seems to be mostly at peace with himself at the end of season 2. I guess he could still want to communicate with Claudia's spirit. We might get a slightly different plot regarding Merrick, but I'm not really sure it would be relevant. Aside from the book, she's not a very important character, so I don't know if they will bother to bring her along. Also, I don't really see the whole thing about Louis being in love with Merrick happening either, since they clearly framed Louis as a gay man in the show. I'm pretty confident we'll get to see Claudia's ghost in some form or another, though. Yes, I generally agree with that. I don't think, first of all, I think if we ever get David, his kid fiddling is going to be much completely cut out of that character, 100%. I imagine, right? Yeah.
100%.
I mean, we don't want it. We don't need it. It's not used in a way that is like character building in some way that is telling us something interesting. It is just like a side story to his life, this person that we're otherwise supposed to love.
Yeah. And I wonder if it was just like a way for her to make him flawed.
Maybe.
Like, but what a way. What a gross way to make someone flawed.
I mean, she doesn't ever do that to Lestat. You know, Lestat does not ever sexualize Claudia, for instance.
No.
I just realized I did not even talk about the specific parts you covered in the video, but I was just too excited to talk about this book. Can't wait for part 3 of this book club. Thank you, Melissa, for that comment. Thank you for reading along with us. Okay. There's some news. God, I'm so glad I scanned down and I saw this. Ice Cream Mermaid 1979 on YouTube commented on our finale episode for the Mayfair Witches, which was titled A Wet Duck Fart.
Yes. Thanks, Kelly, for that.
Ice Cream Mermaid says, it's with a heavy heart that I let you know it got a 3rd season. How? I don't know. Maybe Harry Hamlin is fully financing it with Lisa Rinna's Real Housewife money. It did. I mean, Mayfair Witches got renewed, y'all.
And we're going to Salem.
To meet other witch families. That was what oh, Lord have mercy. Y'all, I want AMC to let us watch these things early, so I'm going to try to be political. I am so perplexed by this. I don't understand. They brought, what's the guy's name? You like the guy. He was the writer on, or he was a writer on Better Call Saul.
Yeah, on Better Call Saul. Shoot. Is it?
I'm looking him up. New Mayfair showrunner, Tom something.
Schnoz? Why is that? That's
Thomas Schnauz, I believe is how you say it. Yeah.
I was like, it's close.
But here's the pisser for me. Thomas is joining Esta Spalding.
Yeah, I got excited because I was like, oh yeah. Nope.
Y'all, what are they doing?
torturing us, Joel. Torture.
I don't.
They're giving us content. Like, I mean, let's be real. They are giving us content. It's just not the content we want.
Somebody commented in the Facebook group, like, I'm so upset about this. Why don't they just spend this money and time on, bringing us the vampires faster? So realistically, it's a whole different cast and crew, right? The only person that's crossing over from these projects effectively is Mark Johnson. And every now and again, it seems like we're going to get an actor here and there. Like, it seems like we'll get Daniel, at least, if nobody else, from Interview in Talamasca. We've seen him on set and things like that. So anyway, the fact of the matter is, running these multiple shows at the same time does not really detract from each other. And we've said it before, and I'll keep banging the drum. Anne Rice adaptations just make future Anne Rice adaptations more likely, even when they're bad. But good God, y'all, this, like,
Mayfair's a whole challenge.
To double down in a farther away direction from the books is just, like, so infuriating and so nerve-wracking. It also genuinely makes me nervous because Roland Jones signed up for this show for the Vampire Lestat. He wanted to make season 3. That's what he said from the beginning. Well, he's written season 3 now, and they're about to start shooting it. And so, like, he's doing something else he's doing the Grapes of Wrath for AMC.
Wrath? What the fuck? Ugh.
I mean, that's great. I think he's going to do amazing. I think it's going to be beautiful.
I'm sure. I just don't like the Grapes of fucking Wrath. I get fucking bored out of my goddamn skull.
I think I think for this time and place, the Grapes of Wrath might be useful. I don't think the people who really need to hear it are going to be watching AMC, honestly, if I'm being frank with you. But it'll end up on Netflix eventually, and maybe some of them will get a little learning. Anyway, my point is this. I'm concerned that Roland Jones is going to step away from this project after season 3.
Yeah.
And then whether this thing continues or not, I do not honestly have faith.
Well, I think that hopefully there's someone, they have a stable, hopefully, and that the next person will be able to step up into those shoes and carry on, because that crew, they all carry that fucking book around with them. Like, I've seen anything you've seen from behind the scenes, every motherfucker has got a copy of the Vampire Lestat in their hand. So hopefully they've created a culture on that, with that crew, that group running that show, that if he leaves, someone will be able to step right into his shoes and it will continue to be fabulous. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed indeed. We did get confirmation that the Vampire Lestat season 3 of Interview with the Vampire is going to be coming in 2026. We got a cool poster for that, and there is some sort of branded content partnership that is going on behind the scenes now. I have not been able to gain access to that. If I had, I couldn't tell you at all about it, but I haven't.
But I would know, and I would be like, he over here.
Yeah. So anyway, we're not in that yet. If we start seeing drips of content, which my assumption is that we're going to get the in-universe media blitz that we've all sort of imagined. I think first of all, it's so cheap to make, right? Yeah. You just put Sam in a room with a couple of extras and you can make it be the Today Show or whatever. But also, you could put him on SNL in 2026. Like, anyway, do cool things with this, please. Even if this is the last hurrah for the amazingness. All right. Let's talk about a book, Ashley.
Let's talk about this book.
So David is a little on tilt after that second visit from Honey and Sandra to start this section. I was badly shaken, but very deeply impressed. First of all, I love the audacity of this dude. Like, again and again, in this book specifically, he's like, these are bad ideas and it's all very dangerous, but I'm going to do it anyway.
But I'm going to enjoy watching it happen. Yep.
There's a reason why David loves Lestat so much, and it's not because of Lestat's good manners.
No, and you're going to get into all kinds of shenanigans with him. Good or bad, it's going to be wild and a good time, you know?
Second. I didn't know. I don't know whether Kelly was in the frame for any of that or not, but she was behind me, so I was like, "Let me wait until she's cleared out." Hey, let the cat in. Oh, never mind. He's not trying to come in. Okay, my note here is Uncle Vivan was not going to let her alone. Uncle Vivan was not going to let her alone. I'm not even sure what that's about. My next one is that a quote from Merrick. Honey wanted to say something of value because Honey wants me to call her again. David was asking her about what Honey had said, that, Honey hurled all these insults at her and, was very aggressive and angry at her and David and the world, but also then, confirmed for her that she hadn't been responsible for their deaths, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? And she gave them this direction on where she needed to go to find the mask. Why would she do that if she hates you and wants revenge, et cetera? She's like, because Honey wants me to call her again. Like,
Yeah.
Honey's trying to entice me.
Yeah.
Which again, I think, since this whole book is about calling the ghost of Claudia, y'all, if she comes, it's going to be for her own methods and reasons, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's like, I mean, a ghost doesn't have to dilly-dally with you if they don't want to, if they're going to come hang out, it's because they want something.
It's going to be for very selfish reasons, I would imagine.
Especially these ghosts. Like, these are not Casper, the friendly ghosts,
Okay, so we learn here, I think this is the first time it's really mentioned in the book, but David goes into kind of a detail about it. He talks about the Talamasca field agents, people who haven't sworn an oath to the agency, but they get paid big money.
Yeah.
Employees of the Talamasca, they cherish the opportunity to draw good pay from a relatively benign source. So a lot of these people are like ex-military, ex-black ops, ex-intelligence.
Right. They don't have to work for assholes like...
Nobody, the Talamasca are not going to send me to assassinate someone.
Right. Yeah. I'm going to be, my work is going to be on the up and up, at least ish here.
I'm going to carry bags and mostly just run security for these nerds as they go into the jungles of the world.
They think ghosts are real, whatever. I'm on for the ride.
But most of them do not know much about the organization and they don't give a shit. These are all like polite scholars that they're carting around the world that seem to have endless amounts of money to spend on anything that they want.
Yep.
Okay. So the first time that they're attacked in this section by spirits, David said, I felt not a personality, but a commotion. And I like this idea. This is something consistently that Anne brings up about the spirit world in her books, which I don't remember her ever talking in interviews about having spiritual interactions herself. But she speaks about this in such a consistent manner that it feels like a thing she knows about the world, right?
Yeah, or she didn't really want to define it, or she wasn't able to quite define it. But it does seem like maybe it's her like interpretation of what that feels like, what that looks like.
But she talks so often about, like, Amel is specifically drawn this way in Queen of the Damned. He's exactly a cloud of commotion that can draw himself to a point for specific reasons, but generally he is just this general air of doom that you feel,
like feeling, being able to maybe she was able to like feel the presence of things, but not able to like really, really see or to really.
Yeah. That would be, I don't know. If somebody knows better than we do,
consistent.
Let us know.
She describes those types of things, those little like hauntings or things that she can't quite define as being like loud, cacophonous, chaotic.
I adore this whole section, honestly, where like David goes Indiana Jones. I had forgotten about it. There's the great section in Queen of the Damned where we see the archaeologist who discovers all the paintings of the twins and is like tracking that whole idea down. This feels like very much that. Some of the Mummy feels that way too.
Yeah.
Like these sections are adventurous in a way that most of Anne's work is not.
Yeah,
A
it's
lot of
kind of-
Anne's work is like
it's like the body thief is that way too. The body
Yes.
thief feels more like a little like we're going on a little adventure with our characters, and that's kind of how this
Yeah.
book feels too. It's less like, I don't know, like Memnock doesn't feel like we're going on a little adventure. I know we are, but it doesn't feel like that's. It's so
Well-
there's so much to it, and it's so heavy, and it's so like, whereas these books have like a little bit of like just kind of an action adventure sort of feel. It doesn't really feel like the stakes are as high as they are in some other things. You know, they are high, but they're not like the devil and God in a battle for Lestat's soul kind of thing, you know?
It's just this girl that we just met and David, who is effectively invincible, and Louis, who we know nothing bad can happen to because he's Lestat's boyfriend. So like we get into this story and it feels like, I mean, it feels like a cycle right up until the very end of the thing almost, honestly. But anyway, this adventurous section in the middle I really, really love. I love it when they're playing Indiana Jones. So they get the mask that they've been looking for, this mask that's going to make her be able to call up spirits. And David puts the fucking thing on.
Y'all, don't put the ghost mask on your face.
Yeah, I just immediately got an image of that, like the opening of The Mask with Jim Carrey, where it like eats his face and wraps around him, or whatever.
Yeah.
David does not have a good time in The Mask. It is not an enjoyable ride.
He is straight up not enjoying that VR experience. It's not a good time for him.
Man, okay.
A bad Oculus.
Bad Oculus. There you go. All right. 16 chapters deep. Oh, well, actually, before that, let's talk about this. So we learn a little bit about Cold Sandra and Honey's murderer. Turns out that Merrick had pointed them in the right direction. They were able to track down the car. They found the car, and then it was like easy to track the guy. Right. So it was like, hey, this one guy worked at various car lots and kept coming back and forth to the same area again and again and again. So we got the guy now. Turns out that he was being haunted, and he wasn't being haunted by someone who fit the description of Cold Sandra or by someone who fit the description of Honey.
No. Seems maybe it fits the description of Merrick.
So do we assume that she's basically astral projecting at this motherfucker, right? Yeah, she was coming after him and literally scared him to death. He killed himself eventually.
Yeah.
Because he couldn't handle it.
Look, revenge comes in many forms.
I love that they don't ever actually spell it out, right? Like David and Louis are talking about this, and neither one of them say that Merrick did it.
Yeah. But it is known. It is known.
Yeah. Anyway, I love that they remind us from time to time that Merrick is not to be fucked with.
Yeah.
Like there's a really good...
She's rogue too. Like she's not under anyone's control. She's not under anyone's, she doesn't feel beholden to anyone, not even to the Talamasca.
No, and it like in last section we talked about how David said if anyone had earned their way in the Talamasca, it was Merrick. She brought them all these treasures, et cetera, and all this knowledge. Okay, but it's almost like she is aware of that. She enjoys the Talamasca. I think she even loves the Talamasca as an agency, but she also uses the Talamasca and does not feel any regret at all about that usage,
It's
It's interesting.
Probably it's like because it's a give and take relationship for her. It's a symbiotic.
Yes.
She knows she's giving as much as she's pulling.
Well, and it's not like David takes liberties with the power and the money of the Talamasca, but he's the fucking director general, right? Like Merrick's just a girl.
Just a gal.
Except also
just a witchy
badass
gal.
Witch. She's like this incredibly powerful witch who, again, like, I think the implication there is like maybe a handful of members of the Talamasca could do something like haunt this guy to death.
Yeah.
She's one of them, though, and we're just like, well, he probably deserved it.
He did deserve it. It's a fucking serial killer.
100% deserved it.
Look, listen.
But as we said in the beginning, due process, ladies and gentlemen.
Due process. Sorry. Due process. Unless you're
I'm
a witch.
Just saying, we could have verified that this was the man.
We could have gone through the system.
The state of Louisiana has the death penalty, so like she could have put this dude
and
on
uses
trial.
it, like really likes it. They're like, how can we kill someone? They prefer to put him
in the prison farm, but all right. Here's my next note, though. 16 chapters deep, Ashley. 16 chapters deep, less than 3 hours remaining in an 11-hour audiobook. And we finally get to the point. They're going to raise Claudia. They're going to raise Claudia if they can. Like, I realized she gets the mask. We get done with that part of the story or whatever. And she's like, all right, I will do it. And she's talking to Louis or whatever. And I'm like, oh, fuck, they're going to, this book is about raising Claudia. How? Oh, shit. It's like 9 hours into this thing.
We're almost done.
So listen, I loved, and I know I've talked about this before on this show, I loved the Laurel K. Hamilton, Anita Blake books. I really enjoyed those quite a lot. But about like 9 or 10 books into the series, there was a book called Micah, which is mostly, I don't know, the whole thing's only like 350 pages maybe. But the first 275 pages is just a series of fucks. Like, it's like, here's a threesome fuck, and here's an orgy fuck, and here's just me and my boyfriend in the shower, and here's me and my other boyfriend in a different shower, and then here's me and my vampire boyfriend in his coffin. And then Anita gets on a plane, and she goes to the place where she's going to solve this book's mystery or case or whatever.
For the last 22 pages of the book.
It was literally 35 pages from when she landed at the place where she's going to solve the mystery to the end of the book. And I was like, see,
that was a lot of fucking to get there.
I mean, I'm not against the fucking, but the fucking was not what I came to this series for. And I was 12 when I started reading that series too, I think 13 maybe. But anyway, I was finally like, I think this series has turned into a direction that I am not following anymore. This sort of felt like that almost. It's like, boy, she wanted to tell a story she wanted to write a book about David. She wanted to write a book about this Merrick character that she'd come up with. And she decided that the hook to do that was to tell the story about Claudia's ghost. But then she forgot. She got so interested in those two books that she forgot to write the book about Claudia's ghost. It was like, I forgot.
Oh, by the way, that was the whole point.
Okay. David asks a very interesting question, and this is apropos of some of the feedback that we got earlier about the differences. Here is, to somebody's comment from last episode, the big differences between Louis and show Louis. TV show Louis. TV show Louis does, at least in 2024, in the Dubai penthouse at the end of season 2, he seems to have resolved his desire for death, which Louis in the books is always sort of plagued by, and Louis in the movie was very much plagued by, the 94 film. In this book, that is sort of Louis's deal. And even here before we start it all, and we actually are going to raise Claudia, David asks, what could make you want to continue? David is sort of like desperate at the idea that he can talk Louis into loving life, which I'm like, Lestat tried that for 60 years in New Orleans, actually.
And
Like, I don't think it's going to work.
Did not go well, turns out.
Merrick makes him read some sections from the diary.
Whoo.
And one in particular that she...
This is one thing I did remember. This
Okay,
is one
me
thing
too.
I did remember.
Yes.
Oof.
And this is cool to me because we've already gotten this in the book. I mean, in the TV show.
Yeah.
We've gotten this confirmation in the television show. Claudia picked Louis not because he was better than Lestat or she loved him more. And it's not, she didn't kill Lestat because she didn't love Lestat. She loved both of them.
Yeah.
She hated both of them both. And more than that, she hated the making of herself. She hated her own creation. And one of them had to die for that crime. That was the deal. And it was just a calculation. And Louis was more malleable.
Louis is easier, yeah. He'll follow me around. Lestat would never follow me around. Like, she knows.
Specifically, Lestat might have followed her around. Lestat would never have destroyed Louis. And one of them had to die.
Very true. Yeah.
One of them had to die. So that's all it comes down to. Anyway, Merrick makes her confront this. And Ashley, I mean, it's not the same situation, but it does remind me of when you talk about like processing your father's death and like his alcoholism. I think about my own arguments with my father and think, okay, he's gone now. You have to confront the good and the bad,
right.
And then you have to move past it and forgive it in a way. Anyway, I think she's literally asking Louis, like, first of all, do you know who this person is that you're calling?
Right. Do you really, really, like, are you just remembering this little version of her that you've carried with you, this little image of her that you've carried with you in your pocket and kept so safe to your heart? Or are you remembering her, this fully formed person, this fully formed vampire that she was, you know, what she was really capable of, what she really wanted, what was really driving her, you know?
Also, though, she's confronting him with, like, are you doing this to punish yourself? Like, do you know who this person is? And are you doing this with the hopes that she'll drag us all to hell?
Well, the other thing is, it is part of, like, how much was writing that and how cruel it was. She left it there on purpose, you know, like, she left that diary hidden.
Oh, yeah.
So she wanted it to be found, you know, by one of them eventually. So it's just like, you know, she wanted those words to be read by Louis, hopefully, eventually, you know?
I do wonder if the seeds that Rollin planted with some of the scenes in season 2, if that doesn't mean that he doesn't have intentions for, I wonder if he has intentions for this specifically. And not, again, this could be an example
Maybe not
of
in
where
this way.
Yes, I think if you bring Claudia's ghost back, it will be vengeful, but I don't think vengeance will be the end result. This Claudia wants Louis to die as well. And we get that right from the very beginning. I don't imagine that will be the conclusion if we get Claudia's ghost back. I think that it will be a reconciliation and an understanding of the broadness of time and the cosmic nature of love, and, you know, that she gets to live in the sunshine in some way, you know, so to speak. Anyway, I hope so. I don't want to see this fire and brimstone resurrection, honestly.
Yeah, it's not nice. It's not a good ghost visit.
Merrick's got a good line here. She said, "Pride is always a sin with those of us who persevere in the Talamasca. We believe we have seen miracles. We believe we have worked miracles. We forget that we know nothing. We forget that there may be nothing to find out."
I also liked Louis says when they're after he's read that, he says, I can't blame her for what she expressed. It always goes so tragically wrong with us. The dark gift, imagine calling it that when it goes so very wrong in the end.
Mm. Okay, but see right there, like that line is the fundamental reason why you and I think of Louis, at least before the TV show, as Sad Sack Louis, the Eeyoriest of vampires.
Yeah.
Like,
He does
David
not have a
doesn't
good
feel that way.
time. He does not have a good time. He's straight up not like enjoying the things that everyone else enjoys about being a vampire. You know, like I'm like, do you remember what it looked like when you like saw through those eyes for the first time and how fucking magical and cool it was? Like,
Well,
I'm like,
I just
you have fun.
I just think Armand was raised Greek Orthodox and then became a vampire in actual Roman Catholic, right? He's not as mopey as you. He
No.
also seeks suicide at some point, but he's not as mopey as you are.
No,
Louis.
and he pursues fun, and he maybe not fun, but he pursues what he wants. Like Armand's gonna go after what he wants, you know.
He has fun with those blenders, Ashley,
He
and
does.
all those people he made Daniel fuck too. He has lots of fun with that. Anyway, yeah, boo sometimes on Book Louis, honestly, and this is one of those times. I'm with David. What could make you want to continue?
Yeah. Because he is such a bummer.
So Claudia just straight up tells Louis. I mean, from the flames, she awakens and just starts telling him some truth. In life, did I not give you all my love? I loathe you, evil father. I never could find words to tell you truths when I was living. What is it to me, the love you lavished on me once in a vibrant and feverish world? Again, I'll just say, Our Lady Anne, there's a reason 3 years after her death, we're going to go celebrate her in New Orleans. Good God, y'all, that woman could write.
Pen to paper. My
Yeah,
God.
right?
Yes. And like really, really put the worst of it into the best words.
It's honestly, it's interesting to me, and I had not seen it the first time, but it's very much a mirror in some ways of the first time that Cold Sandra and Honey come to Merrick. This scene where Claudia arises, except Cold Sandra and Honey were angry with Merrick and were sort of like vengeful, aggressive spirits, but told the truth.
Right.
Here, Claudia is like spitting fire, but also Merrick says, like, she told you lies. Like, her picture of the afterlife is not real. That's not true. I don't know, but she confirms though that was Claudia, or the thing that now calls herself Claudia. I like that too. Which again, like, that's Merrick acknowledging just what she said earlier. We forget that we know nothing, or we forget there may be nothing to find out. She believes that this is Claudia, and this entity believes it is Claudia, but Merrick is leaving space for the fact that, like, maybe our spirits actually disappear, and the spirits that inhabit the air are something else, and they then embody our energy or our consciousnesses after it's gone or whatever. So, like, this thing that calls herself Claudia, yeah, that was her.
But
also, she lied to you.
She lied. That might not be the Claudia you remember. Well, it's
I love that whole thing though.
Yeah, it is. That's wild. It's so horrible. It's so horrible.
It's heavy, man. It's a fucking downer, man. It's a bummer,
a fucking
man.
Downer, man. And the fact that I think I don't like, that's not Louis. I think deep down was hoping for forgiveness, some sort of absolution, some sort of reassurance that she's okay. That
I think he was hoping that they couldn't find her. I think he was genuinely hoping that she couldn't be called up, because then it would either mean, first of all, it would maintain the mystery of the afterlife for him, which I think is sort of one of the reasons. I think that is one of the things that could compel him to continue, for instance, right? We talked about in the first section of this book, Merrick mentions she can only keep Great Nanan from La Mystère for so long. And I was like, La Mystère is a great way to think about the afterlife. I think La Mystère is why Louis stays alive, because he's not certain. He doesn't want to be tormented. He thinks he kind of deserves it. Yeah. Also, though, he would like, if he knew there was a heaven and we would get to go there, then he would jump for it, right? He would jump for the respite and the escape from killing people to survive, et cetera, et cetera. But he's so weak-willed in so many ways that he won't do that without confirmation. So I think what he hoped for was that they wouldn't find her, because then he could still cross his fingers and be like, she's in heaven and someday I'll get to go too.
Yeah, it'll be fun. It's not how it works for y'all. Or probably anyone.
But the point is, we don't know. And until Claudia came back spitting fire at him, he didn't know either. Yeah. And now he thinks he does.
You come to me, after all those many years of evil tutelage, you think that I and death would be united with you. I don't want you. Go on, get it.
But that's the surprising part. And that's the reason why the next section happens, is because Louis here gets what he did not expect and did not prepare for. Even though everybody told him, even though he said, yes, I know, she might come up and it might be terrible. She might be terrible.
She's literally
might be tormented.
Taunting him to kill himself. Die for me, my doting one. I think I shall like it. I shall like it as much as I liked the sufferings of Lestat, which I can scarce remember.
Here's the crazy thing to me, y'all. They literally did this, and again, spoilers, I guess, if you're not a TV show person, but they literally did this in season 2. We get the flashback to 73, and Louis says, Claudia is calling me to die. Like, that is his perception of it. Whether it was true or not, we don't know. We don't see inside his head in that moment. But, like, that's what's happening here. She shows up to talk to him and she's like, die, motherfucker, die.
Yeah, this writing is so fantastic too. Like, this is just, it's not anything a child would say. And that juxtaposition of these things flying out of her tiny little perfect mouth is just so horrifying.
But it's that same diabolical, like, think about the final scenes with Lestat. You know, when she stands over Lestat as they're killing him at the end of interview, like, that Claudia is the Claudia that's here to collect Louis' soul as well. Like, I am the dread pirate Roberts, yes. And I am here for your soul.
Exactly.
Hang on. Yes, I'm recording. Well, when I don't answer, that's why. What do you need? Come on in.
P14's okay. Watch.
Baby, is Kelly out there? Okay. No. What is it?
On the rip.
No. Okay. Why do I have so many of them? I loathe you, evil father. Statistically speaking, I'm gonna have one that'll hurl fire at me one day, probably. All right. I love this book. I'm so glad we're reading this book. It is a really, really good book.
I really love how because I remember getting, in this most recent reread we've done, getting to Tell the Body Thief, and it just being like a breath of fucking fresh air after Memnoch and after, like, everything else we had read. And this feels like that too. You know, it's just not as overwrought. It's not as, you know, it's just a lot. I don't know, I'm having a good time. I'm still having a good time reading this book.
I'm having a black cat come out of my ear.
I know, look at that
apparently.
Gorgeous kitty. Look. Hello.
Hello, Knox. Kelly, let Knox in the bathroom. Nobody listens to me. Come on. Come on.
Knox.
There you go. Technically, his full name is Noxicle.
Ours is a Flintlock Whiskey Barrel.
We got him on National Popsicle Day.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
Yeah, but he's named NOX for the Harry Potter spell. I mean, it's Latin for night, I guess, probably too, technically,
Turn
if
out
we
the
want to
lights.
be pedantic about it. For the longest time, I had a shortcut on my phone that I could say Dingus Nox, and it would turn my flashlight off.
Turn your flashlight on.
Dingus Loomis, and it would turn it on. All right. Hey, on a total side note, but before we wrap up this episode, because I know a lot of you are probably feeling these thoughts too. Is anybody else conflicted about the fact that you don't want to be excited at all about the new Harry Potter TV series, but also the cast looks really fucking good, actually?
Damn that woman. Damn that woman for being so horrific. Oh,
Like, you fucked up such a good series, man. I like that a lot. I want to like it. John Lithgow as Dumbledore is a great idea. That's a great fucking idea. And the idea that we might get him playing that role for 10 years or so on TV is really cool to me, man.
yeah.
That's a really cool way to wrap up his career, honestly. Anyway, she really, really is. Tell me in the comments below if you also are conflicted by the fact that looks really interesting, but also I want to hate it.
Yeah, it's so it makes me so mad.
All right, what are we going to do next week, Ashley? We're going to talk about Emma Stone, not Emma Smart.
Emma Stone.
Not M&M's. We're going to talk about Emma Stone and Poor Things.
Poor Things.
So Poor Things, first of all, is who was the director of this? Because he did something else that it's not Ari Aster, is it?
Oh,
it's
no,
the
no,
guy.
No.
It's a Yorgos Lanthimos.
Yorgos
That
Lanthimos.
cannot be the way that you pronounce his last name.
I hope it is.
Okay, what else did he do though? He did another movie with Emma Stone after this. Oh, okay. He did The Lobster with Colin Farrell, if you've ever seen that. He did The Killing of a Sacred Deer, which I haven't seen, but I've heard really good things about. The Lobster is really interesting. The premise of The Lobster, I believe, is this society, if you don't get married by the time you're a certain age, then you go to this resort for like a long weekend or something. And this is your last chance resort. If you find love at the resort, then great. And you go get married. If you don't, then you are transformed into an animal of some sort. And Colin Farrell is going to be transformed into a lobster.
Into a lobster?
I believe. That is the idea of the film. Dogtooth he also did, and then Poor Things. Kinds of Kindness was the movie that I was thinking of. He just came out like this year, or last year, I guess. But he did those so close together.
Poor Things is such a wild ride. I'm excited for you to watch it.
I'm very excited. All I know about it is it's sort of dirty, and it's kind of a Frankenstein movie.
Yeah, both of those things are quite true.
I'm super excited about those two things, honestly.
I'm excited to rewatch it because I think when I watched it, I was just like a lot. So I'm excited to kind of rewatch it.
There is a movie from, I think, either the late 80s or the early 90s that's an adaptation of Bride of Frankenstein. I think it's just called Bride, that has Sting as Dr. Frankenstein in it.
I remember this. I don't think I've ever seen it, but I remember this now that you mentioned Sting.
It's a slightly dirty Frankenstein story too. Oh, wow. And I was a big fan of it on HBO as a child. So
yeah,
I'm telling you.
This is going to resonate. Guys, though I will say, like, I don't know. We'll get into it.
So that's next week. And then again, the week after that, we'll wrap up Merrick with Book Club Part 4. And then finally, after that, we're going to do the Nosferatu double feature from
Yeah.
1922 and from 2024. Don't forget about our live stream. The dates and information are in the show notes for that. Don't forget about booking your hotels for Anne Rice's Celebration of Life, November 1st. And take our poll if you haven't already and let us know whether you're going to be in New Orleans so we can try to get a room to get together and record one of these in person.
Hell yeah.
Very frankly, Ashley and I are Tinkerbell and we need applause to live. So what I need to happen is for me to say, welcome to the Articulate Coven. We're your hosts. I'm Joel. She's Ashley. And you guys do this thing. Yes, I really need that to happen. So when 10 of us get together in my hotel room, that'll be a little weird. But if that's what we have to do, that's what we'll have to do.
That's what we're going to do.
The Sheraton lobby is going to be like, what the fuck are you people doing down here? We're recording a podcast. We're doing it live, Sheraton.
We're doing it live. Fucking like it.
All right. Everybody have a wonderful week, and we'll be back with you again soon. Until the next time we talk to you, I am Joel.
I'm Ashley.
And we are the Articulate Coven.
Thanks for listening to the Articulate Coven. If you enjoyed the show, check out our groups on Facebook and Discord. Subscribe to the channel on YouTube. Or find us at articulatecoven.com and wherever you listen to podcasts.